In a cozy little village hugged by towering, snow-dusted mountains, there lived a 24-year-old young man named Finn. His mind was like a wild river, always rushing with thoughts that never seemed to stop. From the moment he woke up to the time he lay down at night, his head buzzed with worries, dreams, and memories that tangled together like vines. He often felt heavy with sadness about things that had happened long ago and nervous about what tomorrow might bring. This storm in his mind made him restless, stole his sleep, and hid his smile behind a cloud of worry. One bright spring morning, as the village bloomed with wildflowers and the air carried the sweet scent of pine, Finn overheard a group of children chattering excitedly by the baker's shop. They spoke of a faraway hamlet nestled high in the misty hills, where a kind and wise elder named Mir lived. Mir, they said, had once been a famous teacher in a noisy city, helping children and grown-ups alike find calm in their hearts. Now, with her hair as white as moonlight, she lived in a quiet village surrounded by whispering trees and sparkling streams. She loved sharing stories and lessons with anyone who visited, especially young travelers seeking answers. Finn's heart skipped with a spark of hope. Maybe, he thought, Mira can show me how to quiet the storm in my mind and find the peace I've been missing. With newfound determination, Finn decided to set out on the journey. He packed a small knapsack with a crusty loaf of bread, a wedge of cheese, a shiny red apple, and a flask of cool water. As the sun peeked over the mountains, painting the sky in shades of pink and gold, he waved goodbye to his village and began his adventure. The path to the hills was a winding one, full of surprises. He crossed rickety wooden bridges over giggling brooks, climbed rocky slopes where goats nibbled on grass, and wandered through forests where sunlight danced through the leaves. At night, he curled up under a blanket of stars, listening to the soft hoot of owls and the rustle of leaves. Though his legs grew tired and his shoulders ached, Finn's heart felt lighter with every step, as if the journey itself was whispering promises of hope. After 10 long days, Finn reached the hilltop village. It was a magical place, where colorful flowers spilled over stone fences and thatched cottages glowed warmly in the afternoon light. Butterflies flitted about, and a gentle breeze carried the laughter of children playing nearby. At the edge of the village stood a charming cottage, its walls covered in ivy and surrounded by a garden bursting with daisies, lavender, and sunflowers. On the porch sat Mira, her silver hair braided neatly, her eyes closed as she hummed a soft tune. She seemed to glow with a peaceful energy, like a cozy campfire on a chilly night. Finn approached nervously, clutching his knapsack, and spoke in a quiet voice. Wise Mira, my mind is like a storm that never stops. Thoughts swirl and crash, and I can't find peace. Can you help me? Mira opened her eyes, which sparkled like the stars Finn had slept under. A warm smile spread across her face. Peace, dear Finn, she said kindly. It's closer than you think, like a treasure hiding in your own heart. Come, let's try something fun to help you find it. She led Finn to her vibrant garden, where bees buzzed happily and a small fountain bubbled with clear water. From a wooden bench, she picked up a delicate clay bowl, painted with tiny blue stars, and filled it to the brim with water from the fountain. The water shimmered, so full that even a tiny shake would make it spill. Handing the bowl to Finn, she said, "Take this bowl and walk to the big willow tree at the village's edge. Then come back to me. But here's the challenge. You must not let even one drop of water spill. Can you do it?" Finn's eyes widened. The task sounded simple, but the way Mira's voice carried such calm certainty made him feel it was special. He nodded eagerly, wanting to show he could do it. "I'll try my best," he said, carefully cradling the bowl in his hands. As he started walking, the village came alive round him. Children skipped and giggled. weaving daisy chains by the roadside. A baker called out, offering warm cinnamon buns. Dogs yipped and chased their tails, and a flute player's melody floated through the air. The path was bumpy, with cobblestones and little puddles from a morning rain. But Finn kept his eyes glued to the bowl, stepping slowly and steadily, his whole world shrinking to the water's trembling surface. Villagers smiled as he passed, some whispering to each other. He's learning something important today. The journey to the willow tree was an adventure in itself. Finn passed a sparkling pond where ducks quacked happily, a market stall piled high with juicy peaches, and a meadow where kites soared in the breeze. His arms grew tired from holding the bowl so still, and a bead of sweat trickled down his forehead. But he didn't waver. He imagined the water was a tiny ocean, trusting him to keep it safe. When he reached the willow, its long branches swaying like a green curtain, he paused to catch his breath, feeling a quiet pride. Turning back, he retraced his steps with the same care, the bowl still brimming. By the time he returned to Mira's garden, the sky was ablaze with the colors of sunset orange, pink, and purple swirling together like a painting. "I did it," Finn exclaimed, his voice bubbling with excitement as he handed the bowl to Mira. Not a single drop spilled. Mira took the bowl, her eyes twinkling with delight. "Wonderful, Finn," she said, her voice as warm as a hug. "But tell me, did you see the children making daisy chains? Did you smell the cinnamon buns or hear the flute's song?" Finn blinked, surprise. "No," he said, scratching his head. "I didn't notice anything. I was only thinking about the water in the bowl." Mira's smile grew even brighter, like a lantern glowing in the dusk. "That, dear Finn, is the magic of peace," she said gently. "It's been inside you all along, waiting for you to find it. When you focused on the bowl, your mind stayed right here, in this very moment. There was no room for worries about yesterday or fears about tomorrow. That quiet you felt. That's what peace feels like, a calm, happy heart." Finn stood still, letting her words sink in like rain on a thirsty garden. It was as if a door had opened in his mind, revealing a truth he'd never seen before. Peace wasn't something far away, like a treasure hidden in a cave. It was right here, inside him, waiting for him to choose it. "So," he said slowly, "if I keep my mind on what I'm doing right now, like playing with my friends or eating my favorite soup, I can feel the peace again." "Exactly," Mira laughed, her voice like a cheerful bell. "Every moment is a chance to find peace, whether you're kicking a ball, drawing a picture, or just watching the clouds. Keep your heart right here. The storm in your mind will quiet, and you'll find joy in the smallest things." Finn's heart felt lighter than it had in years. He sat with Mira as the stars began to peek out, listening as she shared stories of her own adventures, how she'd helped children in the city learn to smile again, how she'd found her own peace by listening to the wind in the hills. She told him about a little girl who learned to stay calm by imagining her worries as leaves floating down a stream, and a boy who found joy by counting the colors in a sunset. Each story was like a seed planted in Finn's heart, growing into a promise to live differently. As the moon rose, silver and full, Finn knew it was time to head home. He thanked Mira, his voice soft with gratitude. "I'll practice staying in the moment," he promised, "and I'll share what I've learned with my friends." Mira hugged him gently. "You're ready, Finn," she said. "The peace you seek is yours to keep. Carry it with you and let it shine." With a heart full of hope, Finn began the journey back to his village. The night was cool, the stars bright, and the mountains stood tall and quiet, as if cheering him on. He wasn't the same restless Finn who had left home. He felt new, like a butterfly breaking free from its cocoon. Every step was a chance to practice his new lesson, listening to the crunch of leaves under his feet, feeling the breeze on his face, and smiling at the thought of tomorrow's adventures. If this story warmed your heart or made you smile, share it with your friends and give it a like. Subscribe to our channel for more stories full of magic, lessons, and joy, perfect for kids and grown-ups alike. Thank you for joining Finn on this adventure. Until our next tale, stay curious, stay kind, and find peace in every moment you live.